what's up everyone? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can directly follow and look at any trades that a hedge fund has made or any large institution, and how you can find out basically what institutions are trading any given stock. So for example, you can look up like any stock you want for the most part and see what funds are buying or selling that company. And there are two main websites that I use to do this. The first one is Whalewisdom.com and the second one is HedgeFollow.com. They basically do the same thing, but I figured I'd show both of them. But basically what you can do is you can search for certain funds, or you can just search by the stock ticker, and it's just good to know what the smart money is doing, especially when they're trading a huge dollar amount per position. So let's say you wanted to follow Michael Burry. His hedge fund is Scion Asset Management. So we type in Scion Asset Management. We can see it pops up right here. So I can just click this. We can see ran by Michael Burry. We can see all his top buys, top sells, basically all of his positions. We have a ton of data on the screen. What I like to do is head over to the holdings tab right there, and you can basically see basically everything. You can see what he's trading. The main downside is when it says Tesla put, we don't know what strike price he has or what expiration and things like that. So that does kind of suck. But generally speaking, you could see a lot of data. What I like to see is I like to sort the all of the data by market value, because it shows more confidence. So if a fund has a $2,000 position compared to a $400 million position, obviously there's a huge, there's a lot more confidence in the larger position. Another thing I like to do is sort by this percentage change. Basically, this shows you how much they are adding to their position. So for example, let's say there was 1,000 shares of STNG in the previous quarter, but now they're getting 100,000 shares. That would boost the percentage change a lot, and it could just show that the fund likes the stock a lot more now than it did previously. So you can sort by that. Another thing I like to do is you could type in any stock you're looking at. I was really looking at GEO over the past couple weeks. So you can just head over to the search tab, type in GEO, press search, and then we'll click the Geo Group stock. And we can see basically a ton of data. We can see what funds are holding them. We can see the market value of each position. So, we can see this fund right here has $513,000 worth of the stock right now. This one has $510,000. Arizona State Retirement System has $235,000, and you can sort by the market value, which is what I really like to do. So, for example, with GEO, like I said, I was really looking at this one, and we can see the largest fund holder is Vanguard with a $150 million position. BlackRock has a $127 million position. So it's just nice to see that. So keep that in mind. And then if we head over to the other website, which is HedgeFollow, there's of course a bunch of big names on their homepage, like Bill Ackman, David Einhorn, Icon, all of them. And you can just click whichever one you want. Let's say we go to Bill Ackman. This is Pershing Square. You can see the changes in his positions, and you can kind of follow along with them. You can see, like I said, the changes in position can be pretty big. So I definitely recommend it. The top ways I like to use these websites is I'll just check in on some of the top dogs like Buffett, Einhorn, Ackman, and some of those players, and just see some of their moves they're making. You don't necessarily have to follow them, but I always think it's good to just get an idea of what they're doing. One important thing to keep in mind is that the filing dates between all of these positions are delayed by a couple months. So the 13F forms are filed quarterly. So you can know what they're trading, but a lot of times it'll be delayed by a couple months, which does kind of suck. But sometimes the funds might buy into a stock at, let's say, $10, and now it drops down to $9, or sometimes they might buy in at 10 and now it's at 15. So there's give and take with it, but I think it's a really good tool to have, I guess, in your toolbox, you can say. The main way I like to use this more than anything else is if I'm looking at certain stocks, like especially GEO, where I saw the CEO was buying a lot of shares lately. I saw the smart money buying a lot of out of the money calls lately. I just like to get like a gauge of what other funds are doing and like some of the other big players in the stock. So like I'll just type in GEO on Whalewisdom. I'll scroll down. I'll look at how many funds reduced their positions, how many funds created new positions. We could see over the past quarter there was a new position increase of 38%, you can say. So in the prior quarter, 29 funds had new positions in GEO, but this quarter there were 40 funds with new positions. So I would interpret that as a bullish sign. So you can keep that in mind. Less funds also close their positions. So, you can look at it however you want. Some people like to look at like the total calls and total puts data. Honestly, I don't like to use that, and even the put call ratio, because you don't know if they are buying calls, if they are selling calls, if they're shorting puts, if they're buying puts, if they're hedging. Like there's just so many variables, and it's just not really that useful because, let's say out of these 5.6 million puts that were traded, you don't know if they bought those puts because they think the stock's going to tank down. You don't know if they bought those puts as insurance. Like you don't know if, BlackRock or Vanguard, bought a couple million puts to protect their position. Or at the same time, you don't know if, someone's of a different fund is looking to start a position in GEO and they're selling put options. Like there's so many variables where you don't know with 100% certainty, where I just skip over that. But like I said, lots of data here. Market value is pretty useful. Even the source data is pretty useful, change in shares and all that stuff. And like if you want to follow like what BlackRock's doing, you can just click on BlackRock. You can see like some of their top buys, top sells. Like you're literally following like a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And the only real downside is that like sometimes the stock moves a good amount and it might be too late, but either way you can see what moves they're making, and it's just good to learn from. So I hope you learned something from this video. Whalewisdom and then Hedge Follow are pretty useful, and I'm sure that you can gain some gain something from these websites. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have an amazing weekend.